I love this guy. Every Joker needs a Batman. Every antagonist needs a high IQ protagonist. And until I find someone better, I guess I'm stuck with red pill philosophy. Just so you know that he is no ordinary hero, let's hear from the horse's mouth.
I mean, when you really start doing the high IQ, just skepticism, when you start exercising high IQ skepticism, I mean, you just, and you got 30 tabs open because you're researching, and you're just using high IQ research and stuff like that. Like, you really just do get to the point where you're like, there's no way we live in a fucking ball.
With his high IQ and skepticism, he also believes the world being flat. And I haven't seen any video of him talking about vaccine, but I would bet some money on which side he would be leaning towards. So on his latest video titled, "Wow, Fauci, Obliterated," all caps, when asked should protest be cancelled too, that got over 3,000 views. Damn. Well, let's see what he has to say.
Okay guys, so this is the moment I've been waiting for. 6 months in a pandemic. And it took this long.
Okay, I have a real serious question. Red pill philosophy, if you ever see this video, this is a real simple question to answer, especially for someone with as high IQ as you have. So, how many people around the world has to die before you call it a pandemic? Now, I believe a lot of arguments can be solved by simply agreeing on the definition first. According to Oxford Dictionary, a pandemic is a disease that spreads over a whole country or the whole world. Forget your USA. Look at countries in Europe, in Asia, in Africa. Over 679,000 people have died from a virus. Yes, a virus we call SARS-CoV-2, and the disease is coronavirus disease or COVID-19. So what number does it have to be before you call it a pandemic? With over 17 million confirmed cases worldwide, really, what is the number for you? Do you have one? Or is it like flat earth, you would ignore every real fact and feed the same bullshit to your followers?
The moment I've been waiting for finally happened. This is like the emperor has no clothes.
The chair now recognizes for 5 minutes Mr. Jordan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Dr. Fauci, do protests increase the spread of the virus?
Do protests increase the spread of the virus? I think I can make a general statement.
Well, 500,000 protesters on June 6th alone.
Yeah.
I'm just asking that number of people, does it increase the spread of the virus?
Crowding together, particularly when you're not wearing a mask, contributes to the spread of the virus.
Should we limit the protesting?
I'm not sure what you mean. How do we say limit the protesting?
Should government limit the protesting?
I don't think that's relevant to...
Well, you just said if it increases the spread of the virus. I'm just asking, should we limit it?
Well, I'm not in a position to determine what the government can do in a forceful way.
Well, you make all kinds of recommendations. You make comments on dating, on baseball, on everything you can imagine. I'm just asking you just said that protests increase the spread. I'm just asking you, should we try to limit the protests?
No, I think I would leave that to people who have more of a position to do that. I can tell you...
Government stopping people from going to church, Dr. Fauci?
Yeah.
Last week in the Calvary Chapel case, 5 liberals on the Supreme Court said it was okay for Nevada to limit church services. Justice Gorsuch said it best. He said there's no world in which the Constitution permits Nevada to favor Caesar's Palace over Calvary Chapel. I'm just asking, is there a world where the Constitution says you can favor one First Amendment liberty, protesting, over another, practicing your faith?
I'm not favoring anybody over anybody. I'm just making a statement that's a broad statement that avoid crowds of any type, no matter where you are, because that leads to the acquisition and transmission. And I don't judge one crowd versus another crowd. When you're in a crowd, particularly if you're not wearing a mask, that induces the spread.
It's a simple question, doctor. Should we limit the protests? Government is obviously limiting people going to church. And look, there's been no violence that I can see at church. I haven't seen people during a church service go out and harm police officers or burn buildings. But we know that, for 63 days, 9 weeks, it's been happening in Portland.
Right. Yeah.
Well, one night in Chicago, 49 officers were injured, but no limit to protest. But boy, you can't go to church on Sunday.
What was the?
I don't know how many times I can answer that. I'm not going to opine on limiting anything. I'm just going to tell you.
You've opined on a lot of things, Dr. Fauci.
Yeah, but I've never
This
said
is something that directly impacts the spread of the virus, and I'm asking your position on the protest.
Yeah, I'm not going to opine on limiting anything. I'm telling you what it is, the danger. And you can make your own conclusion about that. You should stay away from crowds, no matter where the crowds are.
Government has stopped people from going to work. In fact, just in New Jersey 4 days ago, Ian Smith, Frank Trombetta were arrested for trying to operate their business, their gym. They were arrested. But my bet is if these two individuals who own this gym were outside just in front of their gym, and all the people who were working out in their gym were outside protesting, they'd been just fine. But because they were in the gym working out, actually running their business, they got arrested. You think that's okay?
You know, I'm not going to opine on who gets arrested and who does not. I mean, you get where I'm going. I'm telling you, as a public health official, I say crowds.
Do you see the inconsistency, though, Dr. Fauci?
There's no inconsistency, Congressman.
What?
Jesus. Okay, let me explain what everyone should know about science. We rely on data, and that allows us to refine our knowledge. At one time, we thought the smallest thing we can break anything down to was an atom. Then we learned we can break that into electron, proton, and neutron, and that's it. Until 1968, when we figured out it's a quark that makes up protons and neutrons. At times, we find bad data, perhaps due to an misassumptions. For example, something super basic that most of us don't think about. How old is this world that we live in? We have been trying to figure it out many ways over hundreds of years. At one time, we tried to predict this age based on changing of sea levels, the time it took for Earth or the Sun to cool to present temperature, and the salinity of the ocean. But as our dating technology progressed, we realized some of the methods were unreliable. For example, the rise and fall of ocean is shown to be an ever-changing progress rather than a gradual decline. We tried looking into the rocks and surface, but plate tectonics changes and revamps the crust. Now we're using radiometric dating. In simple terms, we have tested and confirmed some radioactive isotopes decay into other elements at a predictable rate. Using this method, we found the oldest rock in northwestern Canada that is 4.03 billion years old. Then we got better data from that round thing in the sky that you don't believe in, and us non-high IQ people call a moon. Sample from moon revealed ages between 4.4 billion and 4.5 billion years, helping to constrain the age of Earth. Do you know a funny fact? It were the scientists themselves who looked for better methods, better techniques, better data, and changed our knowledge based on that. One of my favorite topics is radium girls, and I never got to talk about them in any of my videos so far. Long story short, at one point, we thought self-luminous paints were really cool and had a bunch of ladies painting on watch dials. Well, those were not cool, and once we figured it out, we stopped it. What you think is our biggest weakness, funnily enough, is what I think is science's biggest strength. I know it was a long explanation for something super easy to understand. This is a new virus. All we have is data. And what has the data shown us so far? Well, obviously the number of deaths, which apparently isn't enough for you. For something like seasonal flu, most people either take their flu shot or are immune to a particular strands, and they make up the shield we call herd immunity. When it comes to coronavirus, well, first we have some reports that people getting reinfected, but not enough data to be sure how long the antibody might last. On top of that, we don't have enough people with antibody for herd immunity. In reality, we need more than 50% for it to be really effective in stopping a spread. Without a vaccine and a herd to protect us, there is only one way, and that is to take ourselves out of the equation. This is the equation of being a vector in the infection. This also helps stopping the hospitals being overwhelmed by patients. Now, yes, the economy has to move. We all get that. So, we try to limit the spread by wearing a mask and social distancing. Why is it hard to understand? Dr. Fauci kept giving the correct answer. Okay, let me give you a different example that perhaps make it easier for you to understand. If you'd ask me, is cyanide safe to drink with Coke? And my answer to you is, cyanide is a poison, don't drink it. Now you can reform that question with, what would cyanide with rum and Coke? Or cyanide with tea? Take your pick. But doesn't my answer already cover the question you're asking? At that point, I would have to wonder what is the reasoning behind the repeated question. One reason might be that this representative, Jim Jordan, is truly so freaking dumb that he doesn't understand the answer, or I blame the cynical me for this, he has an alternative agenda. I have talked about this in some other videos. Why I think it's hypocritical of media to glorify the protest where no social distancing or mask wearing, and vilifying those idiots protesting wearing a mask and for their freedom. It's a lose-lose situation for Dr. Fauci. If he says, yes, it's okay for the protesters, then he would get vilified by us. I mean people who pray to science. If he says, no, it's not, then he would get vilified by media and all BLM supporters. Now, is it wrong not to answer a yes-no question? Well, I'll answer it with a question to you. It's a simple yes or no question. So, please answer with either yes or no. Are you ready? So here goes. Do you still beat your wife? See, you just can't win. Either you'd admit to beating your wife, or you'd admit to beating her before, but not doing that anymore. Wait, I think I just obliterated you, Red Pill Philosophy. So yeah, do you still beat your wife? Well, that's all for this video. Thank you all very much for watching. If you enjoyed it today, please do like and subscribe. It would be thoroughly appreciated. Have a safe day. Signing off.